Mitch McConnell has not been seen in public for more than 3 weeks. No photo, no video, no proof of life, nothing. The most powerful Republican of the last 2 decades just vanished. And the man who took his job went on national television and said this.
Senator McConnell, we're told he was hospitalized. Have you heard any word on him?
I have. I spoke to him yesterday, and he was in good spirits. I mean, he was very dialed in, paying attention to what's going on, and indicated that he would be back soon.
16 seconds, that's all it is. And there are at least 5 things in those 16 seconds that bother me, but I'm not going to tell you what they are yet, because first you need to know what Thune is actually talking about. So park that clip in your head, because we're coming back to it at the end. Here's the timeline, and I want you to notice how each piece makes the silence louder. On June 14th, paramedics get called to McConnell's home in Washington. The 911 dispatch audio leaked, and it's not a senator feeling unwell call. Dispatcher describes a cardiac arrest response, CPR in progress, advanced life support requested. He's 84 years old. He gets rushed to the hospital, and his office puts out one sentence. He was admitted this morning. He's receiving excellent care. That's it. No diagnosis, no prognosis, no timeline. Now, people get hospitalized, offices stay vague. That alone is not a mystery. What makes this a mystery is everything that happened next, which is nothing. The last time anyone saw Mitch McConnell was June 11 in a wheelchair casting a vote. Since the 14th, 0 images. Not one photo of him sitting up in a hospital bed waving at the camera, which, by the way, is the standard move. Every politician on earth does the thumbs up from the bed photo because it kills the rumors in one shot. It costs nothing, and they haven't done it. So instead, the office keeps releasing the same sentence in different fonts. He continues to improve. He's working closely with his staff. He's eager to get back. Week after week, identical wording. And if you have followed this channel for a while, you know that scripted language is what people use when the truth needs supervision. And remember, this is a man with history. The freezing episodes on camera in 2023, where he locked up mid-sentence for 30 seconds while his aides physically turned him around. The fall and the concussion that kept him out for weeks. Another hospitalization this past February, 8 days, with flu-like symptoms. He had polio as a child, which affects his mobility to this day. So when this particular 84-year-old disappears after a CPR call, the vacuum fills with speculation fast. And it did. You had commentators claiming he's brain dead, on life support, that the office is running a weekend at Bernie's operation. Those are claims, not facts. I can't verify any of them, of course, but his office could kill them all with one photograph, and they choose not to. Now, this gets really strange, really stranger, because of his wife. Elaine Chao, former transportation secretary, was in China when her husband collapsed. Long planned trip, her office says, family philanthropy, okay, fine, but 3 days after her husband's heart stopped, she's not on a plane home. She's in Beijing, sitting across a table from China's Vice President Han Zheng in a formal meeting, photographed and published by Chinese state media. So we're talking about a private citizen with no government role getting head of state treatment while her husband is in an American hospital bed after cardiac arrest. Reports said she saw no need for an immediate return. Well, I think any woman that has been married and anyone that has had family emergencies can do that math themselves. And then comes the part that turned my head, the vouching parade. On July 7, one single day, 3 separate men report that they spoke to McConnell. Scott Jennings, his old advisor, posts in the morning. Talked to Mitch for just shy of 20 minutes. We covered Iran, Ukraine, Maine, Senate history. We got Senator Barrasso that same afternoon. Also about 20 minutes, fully engaged, eager to get back. And Thune's office, a lengthy and substantive conversation covering national security. So, 3 talks in one day, each described in loving detail, all promoted by McConnell's own office. Conversations that you and I cannot see, cannot hear, and cannot verify. The one form of proof that requires zero effort, a photo, is still missing. The forms of proof that require you to trust the witness suddenly everywhere. So why the coordinated push, and why now? Here's a detail almost nobody is saying out loud. Kentucky law has a cutoff in early August. If McConnell's seat becomes vacant before that window closes, the state has to run a special election process for the remainder of his term, with new candidates, new filings, new chaos, and Kentucky's governor, a Democrat, gets a say in the timing. If the vacancy comes after the cutoff, everything falls neatly into the November election that's already locked and loaded. So there is a several-week stretch right now where the difference between recovering senator and vacant seat is worth a fortune in political terms. I am not saying that's what's happening. I'm saying that when silence has a deadline attached to it, the silence stops being boring. And his daughter deactivated her account on X amid the backlash. The Senate comes back next week, and the only face the public has been given in 3 weeks of this is the clip you saw at the start. So let's go back to that clip. Watch it again, and this time keep your eyes on 3 zones: the head, the eyes, and the shoulders.
Senator McConnell, we're told it was hospitalized. Have you heard any word on him?
I have. I spoke to him yesterday, and he was in good spirits. I mean, he was paying very dialed in, paying attention to what's going on, and indicated that he would be back soon.
Well, first, the lean. Thune's body angles away from Bayer through this answer, and I have to be fair here. That's his baseline. He sits like that through the whole interview, so on its own, it means nothing. This is why baselines matter. You don't get to call that deviation until you know the default. But now the head. Listen to the words, "I spoke to him yesterday and he was in good spirits," and watch the head while he says it. The words affirm, the head shakes no. So when the mouth and the skull disagree, I trust the skull because the head movement is automatic and the sentence was prepared. Third, the eyes. So Thune's normal pattern when he's thinking is a gaze aversion to the side. That's memory retrieval. That is normal. But here the gaze drops down. Downward aversion isn't recall. It's a discomfort. It's a deviation from his own baseline, which is exactly the kind of flag we look for. Then the shrug. A quick shoulder shrug right as he waves off any concern. A shrug is the body saying, "I don't know," or I can't back this up. And this shows up here attached to a statement of total confidence. So, confident words riding on uncertain shoulders. And the language itself. He was in good spirits, dialed in, paying attention. Notice that not one of those phrases requires McConnell to have actually spoken. You can be in good spirits through a staffer's summary. It's testimony where the fingerprints wiped. And last one, and this is my favorite, the smirk at the end. Eyes flicking to Bayer, checking whether the answer landed. Yeah, people telling plain truths don't audit the room. Yeah, while people delivering lines, they do. Now, none of this proves that Thune lied, and I want to be honest about that. Discomfort has many mothers, and vouching for a sick friend on live TV is stressful all by itself. But and you cluster the deviations, the shaking head, the dropped gaze, the shrug, the hatched wording, the audit glance, and you get a man who is far less certain than his script. One photograph would end this entire story, and until it appears, keep watching the shoulders, not the statements. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. And remember that I have a blog where I share all these body language tips and tricks for you to check out. Link in description. Much love and bliss.